Hello everyone, it is Big Moon Farm, and today we are going to be discussing how to plant potatoes to get better germination. First, you want to make sure that you have good seed potatoes that you get from somewhere. You don't want to save potatoes and then use them for seed, because that is bad for having a bunch of disease in your potatoes. So you want to buy them from somewhere. You can get them from your local hardware store, just anywhere that sells that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of different varieties of potatoes. You can get Adirondack Blues, which is something that's done really well for me in my environment. May or may not do well for you. You can also get like a Yukon Gold or a white potato or Pontiac red potatoes. The varieties I mentioned are very popular varieties that I use, and they do very well for me. So any of those varieties will most likely do good for you. And do some research for what kind of soil you have and what kind of varieties do better in the soil. So you're going to cut your potatoes, and when you cut them, you want to make sure you have adequate area on the potato. If they're smaller, you don't really want to cut them. If they're like fingerling potatoes, you don't want to cut them. But if they're larger, kind of baking size potatoes, then you want to cut them to have at least 2 or 3 eyes. Some people say to have 1 eye on each cut area, but I think that to have better germination and better yields, if you have 2 to 3 eyes, you can have a lot better yield and a lot more potatoes. You want to let them dry out for a day or two so they do not rot in the ground. So you just want to let them dry out after you cut them, and then you're ready to plant. Let's get to planting. This is a picture of cut potatoes, and this is just what you want when you get cut potatoes. That's about the size that you want. Some of them in there might be a little small, but you can see how they've healed over, and that's how much you want them to heal over. The next thing you want to do is you want to have a good well-drained soil, not too wet, not too dry, and you want to dig anywhere from 2 to 4 inch holes in the soil at the top of the row, about 6 to 8 inches apart. Or if you want really bigger potatoes, you can do it longer, but it's just your preference. There's a lot of trash in here, and you want to not have a bunch of trash. You can do this by tilling over multiple times. So that is how you want to dig the holes for your potatoes. The next thing you want to do is you want to take your cut or uncut potatoes, if they're not big enough, and you want to just gently put them in the holes. It's very important to be gentle with these potatoes. Here you can see how they are cut and how you're going to put the cut end on the bottom. And you just want to be gentle with them because they can have fragile eyes, and if you break off the eyes, then you might not have potatoes. So that's kind of the sprout. So if you want better germination, you want to turn the potatoes to the cut side down. Make sure you get all the trash out of your holes, and that is how to place them in the ground. The next thing you want to do, really the last thing, is to cover them with enough soil that you get about 1 inch above them, between the potato and the top of the ground, just with soil. And that is all you need to do. It's going to take your potatoes a good while to germinate, about 14 days. And to get better germination, you don't want to water them as soon as you put them in the ground, unless it's really, really dry, because that might rot them. A excess amount of water is going to make them rot in the ground, but you also don't want it to be very, very dry, so you want to find a good balance there. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been Big Moon Farm and a tutorial on how to plant potatoes to get better germination. I hope you got a lot from this video. Please let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and if you would like to see any other different things, please let me know also, and have a blessed day.